Again live on YouTube, and we are about to start right here. Shalom, everyone, and welcome once again. Welcome once again to another of our weekly Shabbat teachings. Welcome once again, Eliyahu Yasharal here from Just a Word, and you can find our teachings at justaword.org. And coming soon will be Just a Word Radio, which we are striving to be a 24-hour radio talk, music, interviews, discussions, you name it. That's what we are actually working on at this moment. So stay tuned. So when we announce it, you can be tuned into Just a Word Radio, where we strive for relentless truth. We are not a denomination. We are not restricted. We are not a church. We are not restricted by statements of faith, but we are a group that say that we do not know it all and we do not know it, but we strive to know. And we are a group that accepts that we will not know or we do not know it all. And we are a group that is stand corrected. We do not defend doctrine because the doctrine is what defines us. No, we seek truth. And if truth comes and proves that what we say is actually not 100%, then we can adjust because we are not a rigid church group. All right. So I guess what I would tell you is that this is the right place for you to be. People are seeking truth and people are willing to say, this doesn't look right. I told you this yesterday, but now I'm seeing something else. All right. So in that way, you will get moved from truth to truth. You will not be stuck in a lie. All right. So today we go and we move to the end time fate of sinners versus that of the righteous. So what we will do and what we are actually doing, we'll actually be looking at verses and looking at what the scriptures say about what will happen to the righteous and what will happen to the wicked, because in our end time here, we are pummeled by, when we see developments happening, we see things happening that we never knew would happen in our lifetime. We see the mark of the beast shaping up to come upon us. And many of us are scared. Many of us are confused. Many of us are worried about what is to come. And it is only natural because we only hear mostly of the negative sides. When it comes to these things, we hear of the negative sides. We hear of the scary sides of it. And if you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't. What about the Most High and his interaction with us going through this? And this is what we'll look at today. So today should be kind of like a therapy session, I guess. But not only a therapy section, but this is also a wake-up call for those of us who are here saying that we are in belief and not willing to strive for righteousness, not willing to push for righteousness' sake, but we are like church people in religion, striving to remain where we are, doing the same things over and over again, not wanting to move from the position where we are at, not wanting to move from the position where we're at, but just content on sitting back. All right. So we're going to show that when people are pushing us now, we have to go with the push because it really affects our outcome and affects our soul. Now, first, we will start because we have to know who the righteous are, and we have to know who will be getting the rewards, because the Hebrew Israelites, they teach in the end that all Israel will be saved, according to Romans 11:26. All Israel will be saved means all Israelites that live, or all Israelites that ever lived, or something to do with every Israelite. All right? Which, of course, and many of their doctrines, this is why we don't align ourselves and don't want to be defined with any denominations or anything like that. Yes, we are Israelites, we are Hebrews, but we don't wear the banner of Hebrew Israelites. All right? Because that now would align us with many teachings that are off. And this is why when people stop and ask me, which camp are you in, or whether there's no camp at all, because guess what? You align yourself with the camp, you'll dock yourself into a doctrine of a particular organization. All right? And we have to always remember, blindness in part is happening to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. So none of us will get the full understanding until the end of the Gentiles. And the time of the Gentiles has not yet fully come to an end. So me holding fast and saying that I know it all, or my group knows it all or has it all figured out, that is erroneous. So we prefer to be in a group that is striving for truth, not one who will tell you we have it all figured out. No, striving for truth. All right. So their claim that in the end every Israelite will be saved. Let's look at that. Let us just debunk that first, because we have to start showing exactly who will be saved and who will be the righteous in the end. And their claim comes from Shemot 2, verse 25. Exodus 2, 25. Could you read, please?
And Aloha looked upon the children of Israel, and Aloha had respect unto them.
All right, start and get the foundation. Verse 23.
Verse 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage, and they cried, and their cry came up unto Aloha by reason of the bondage.
Continue.
And Aloha heard their groaning, and Aloha remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob.
Continue.
And Aloha looked upon the children of Israel, and Aloha had respect unto them.
All right. So because the Most High said he had respect unto Israel, all right, this is one of their reasons when they say all Israel will be saved. When you say to them that the Most High is not a respecter of persons, and we have to weigh both things together, because right away we have a disparity there. Respects Israel, but then he's not a respecter of persons. Read verse 34.
Acts 10:34. Then Peter opened his mouth and said, Of a truth I perceive that Aloha is no respecter of persons.
No respecter of whom?
Persons.
Persons. So before in Exodus 2, in Acts 10:34, we are talking respect of persons. And in Acts 2:25, we are speaking of respecting a nation, the children of Israel. So he has respect to the nation of Israel, but he does not have respect to persons. And this is what you have to do. When we have two parallel verses that seem to contradict each other, we have to get to the full understanding to know that they're not actually contradicting each other. Right? So he had respect unto Israel, but he does not have respect to persons. So what we are going to do now, we're going to use Ezekiel 18, 20 to 21. Where's that thing? It is Ezekiel 18, 20 to 21 to clarify this. 18. Read, please.
From 20?
Yes.
Ezekiel 18:20. The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
Stop. The soul that sinneth. It did not say the Gentile that sinneth. Right? And first of all, this is referring to Israel. This is directed to Israel. The Hebrew Israelites like to tell people that all the scriptures are related to Israel. But yet the scriptures that seem to disprove their point, they ignore the fact that it was written to Israel. This was written to Israel. The soul that sinneth, it shall die. This is why it means he's now no respecter of persons. He respects the nation, but the soul within the nation that sins shall die. It's simple. Continue, Queenie.
The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son.
All right, stop there. This is another thing now that some people use when we say we are in captivity for the sins of our fathers. They are saying the son shall not bear the iniquity of the fathers. No, this is speaking about death. In death, when it's time for the judgment, the son shall not bear the iniquity of the fathers. We have to understand. All right? Daniel was brought into captivity with Judah, but Daniel was a righteous man. And Daniel prayed, he prayed for the sins of his fathers that brought him into captivity. Nehemiah or Nehemiah was also brought into captivity. He was a prophet, he was a righteous man. Ezra or Esdras was also brought into captivity in Babylon, and he was a righteous man. Baruch was also brought into captivity, the scribe of Jeremiah. All right? These were brought into captivity and these were righteous. But guess what? In the end, they will be judged by their own righteousness. They will not be judged in the end, and they will not die because of the sins of their fathers. They are in captivity because of the sins of their fathers, but they die for their own iniquity. Very simple to understand. Continue, please.
The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him.
This is what we're talking about. It is the righteous among our people. The wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. Now, to say that all Israel shall be saved means every Israelite, means that Yahuwah is a liar, because he said the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. So if we say all Israelites shall be saved, then it actually does mean that every single wicked among our people, his wickedness shall not be upon him. Yahuwah would be made a liar. All right? We have to really bring this out at the start, because there are so many doctrines that are so self-serving. Continue in verse 21, please.
But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die.
So even while we are in captivity for the sins of our fathers, we will not be judged for our father's sin, we'll be judged for our own sin. And if we are in wickedness and we turn from our wickedness, we shall live. Simple. Verse 22.
All his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he hath done, he shall live.
Oh, so the Most High will forget all the transgressions. Which is why we ask people to repent. And this reminds me of a conversation I was having with Becky, which Becky would come to these teachings. And Becky was saying that it's too late. I was saying Jamaica to repent. Becky was saying it's too late. It's not too late before the storm. You keep unto the very end. Noah preached to the very end. Because all his transgression that he has committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he had done, he shall live. So if they turn from their wickedness and turn to righteousness, they shall live. All right? Verse 23.
Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die, saith Yahuwah Allah, and not that he should return from his ways and live?
All right. Return from his ways, return from his wickedness, because when he was born, he was not a wicked person. All right? But death pulled him to sin. All right? Wages of sin is death. So death pulled in sin so that we could die. And we went into wickedness so that we could die. All right? Verse 24.
But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness and committed iniquity, and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live? All his righteousness.
All right. All right, so the righteous among our people, again, if they go into wickedness, this again, that's telling you that all Israel shall be saved cannot mean every Israelite that lived or every Israelite that is living. There's whoever is a righteous it's talking about. Continue. All his righteousness.
All his righteousness that he hath done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he hath trespassed, and in his sin that he hath sinned, and them shall he die.
All right,
In them shall he die.
the sinners of my people shall die. Okay? So when we go to this, Romaim, when we go to Romaim 11:25, read it, please.
Romans 11:25. For I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in.
All right, this is what has happened to us, and this is what is happening to us right now, and this is what we are coming out of. You know, all of these teachings, it is us coming out of this blindness in part that has happened to Israel. All right, and as we said before, the fullness of the Gentiles has not yet come in, so we are still in blindness, partially in blindness. Verse 26.
And so all Israel shall be saved.
Okay, so this is what they are saying. And so all Israel shall be saved. Means after the time of the Gentiles, every Israelite shall be saved. This is a lie. That is a lie, and this is not a right rendering of interpretation of this. All right, because the all Israel here is referring to the 12 tribes. The whole 12 tribes will be brought back together in the end. The all is a remnant from the 12 tribes, the whole house of Israel, as it is called several times throughout scripture, including when it was speaking about the dry bones. All right. And when it says he will bring the two sticks together, the stick of Ephraim, which is the house of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the stick of Judah, the southern kingdom, both will be brought together. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel, and that is what it means by all Israel shall be saved. As it is written,
there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob.
Mm-hmm. All right, so as it is written, there shall come out of Zion the deliverer, which is the Messiah, and shall turn away what?
Ungodliness.
That means the Messiah will be coming and will be coming
righteous.
And they are 20 them before 27, when I shall take away their sins. Not everyone will come to Mashiach. All right? Not all. Yeah, go ahead.
You can repeat what you said because you were breaking up.
Okay, I said, for this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins. I was saying that not all will be coming. Pardon?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that not all will be coming to the Messiah. Not all will be accepting Messiah, which is why Shaul had spoken about. Can you mute, please?
Wait, can you mute?
All right. So which is why Shaul had spoken about the grafted in and Israel being broken off, and they can be grafted back in again. Can be grafted back in again. Or some will be broken off. Sherman, please mute your, when you come in, please mute your thing, please. Yeah. Isaiah 1:27. Isaiah 1:27 again, proving that it's not everybody. This is speaking about the end times, and let's see what Yeshayahu says. Verse 27, read please.
Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness.
Oh, this is the end time. the redemption in the end through Messiah, with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. And what does converts here mean?
Those who have changed.
Brother
Pardon?
B.
Yeah. Yes, Wayne.
Well, yeah, while you're looking for that verse, just want to interject a little bit, just to
Yeah.
show us more clearer that it could not be that all Israel will be saved, because if that was so, today's day, we wouldn't have to be learning truth. We would just live all we want to live and just be saved in the end.
Do what you want to do.
Also,
Yeah,
when the children were in the wilderness, not all of them were able to go to the promised land.
simple. Simple. All right. Great contribution. So what does converts here mean? And you were saying it, Queenie.
Those who have changed.
All right. Converts come from the Hebrew shub, right? And it means to turn back, right? To bring again, to bring back, home again, to come back or come again, to go again back home.
Going back to the ways of old.
All right, so what it is saying, this is speaking about us. Us who in the end are in captivity and have awakened up to who we are, and we have now gone back to the ways of Yahuwah, to the word of Yahuwah, going back to his statutes, his judgments, and his commandments through belief in his son, right? And it's through his son that we access Yahuwah's righteousness. So, in the end, Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. This is Zion. This is a holy mountain. All right? It's not everybody. It's those who have turned to the word of Yahuwah, keeping his commandments through faith in his son. Verse 28. And let's see what shall happen to the sinners. This is the righteous up here. 27. Let's see what's happened to the sinners of our people.
And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake Yahuwah shall be consumed.
All right. This is it. This is among our people. It's speaking about our people. It's talking about Israel in the end. The destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake Yahuwah shall be consumed. So even those converts who end up and turn around and forsake Yahuwah shall be consumed in the end. Simple. Amos 8:9. Amos 9 verse 8. Let's go to and I'm telling you, it's very hard to convince these people otherwise. You're gonna show them these scriptures. I'm telling you, we cannot be self-seeking with scriptures. We have to approach scriptures that scripture leads us to truth, and not choose a truth and try to let scripture prove that we are right. We have to say we don't know and allow scriptures to teach us. Amos 9 verse 10. Read, please. No, Amos 9:9. This is the one that they pick out. I'm going to show you that if you get it in context, it's a different meaning. Amos 9:9. Read, please.
For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
All right, so they see this. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. And they're saying, yes, none of Israel will be lost. Not even the least among them. I'm telling you about the Bible. The Bible is a great book. Great book. Whatever you want out of it, you can get it. Whatever delusion you want out of it, you can get it, you know. But if you want the truth, you can still get it. So let's get the truth and go to Amos 9:8. Start at verse 8. Read, please.
Behold, the eyes of Yahuwah Eloah are upon the sinful kingdom.
Which sinful kingdom?
The kingdom of Israel.
All right, thank you very much. Continue.
And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahweh.
All right. He will destroy it, but he will not utterly destroy it. What does that mean? Some of it will be saved. A remnant again will be saved. He will not utterly destroy it, but he will destroy it. That means when it says in the next verse, not the least grain shall fall upon the earth, the least grain cannot be referring to everybody. You have to figure out who it is referring to. So when go to verse 9 now.
For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth.
All right. So it sounds as if the least grain, but when you look at the previous verse, it shows that he will not utterly. It shows that this least grain is referring to a remnant. And then verse 10 makes it even more emphatically clear. Verse 10.
All the sinners of
verse 10.
All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us.
All right, so this shows us that the least grain here cannot be referring to the sinners of his people, because the sinners of his people shall be destroyed. This is why it says he will destroy it from the face of the earth. He will destroy the sinners from among it, but he will leave a remnant, the least among them. All right? And they will not be destroyed, but the sinners shall be destroyed. So that thing about all Israel shall be saved. And so we're going to look now and see who the least are. Who is this least grain speaking about? And for that, we go to Zephaniah 3, verse 12. Zephaniah 3, 12 to 13. Read, please.
Zephaniah 3, verse 12. I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people.
Okay. Oh. These are they who are the least. Now let's read from verse 11.
In that day
Read
shall
from verse
thou,
11, get more context.
in that day shalt thou
Continue.
not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain.
This is when he's sifting. Those who rejoice in their pride will be taken out, and the least among them will remain, and they are the least. Verse 12, say it again.
I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahweh.
These who will be saved in the end. These are the people who are set apart to the end. All right? Not all Israel. And verse 13, it's a remnant. Verse 13.
The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity.
The what?
Shall not do iniquity.
The what?
The remnant of Israel.
Okay, so in the end, there's a remnant. All Israel shall be saved. It's going to be a remnant from all 12 tribes. Continue.
The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies. Neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth. For they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid.
So in the end, when it says all Israel shall be saved, this is speaking about this remnant from the whole 12 tribes of Israel. It's not everybody. All right? Okay. And let's emphasize that with Romans 9, verse 7. Read, please. No, it's not Romans 9, verse 7. Where did I see it again? Where is it again? 27, sorry. Go ahead, Queenie.
Romans 9:27. Esaias also crieth concerning Israel. Though the number of the children of Israel be as the sand of the sea, a remnant shall be saved.
Okay, so when we go around now to Romans 11:25, 26, it just says a remnant shall be saved. Though there are a whole lot of Israelites, a remnant shall be saved. So when you go on to 26, what it says?
And so all Israel shall be saved.
Okay, and so when it says, and so all Israel shall be saved, it must be speaking about this. A remnant shall be saved. Very, very simple and very easy. So we have to actually get that very, 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 very clear. All right. And it is really sad that our brothers in the Hebrew Israelite movement in the camps, their doctrines are so many of them. They have great understanding and great doctrines and great memory of scriptures, but their doctrines are off. Some of them teaching our baptism is not necessary. Let me just digress and just emphasize, because some of us here might not be baptized. Let me just digress. Matthew 3, verse 14. And they are saying that baptism is not necessary, totally contradicting the Messiah. Verse 13, read from verse 13, please.
Then cometh Yahusha from Galilee to Jordan unto John, to be baptized of him. But John forbade him, saying, I have need to be baptized of thee, and comest thou to me?
Continue.
And Yahusha answering said unto him, Suffer it to be so now, for thus it becometh us to fulfill all righteousness. Then he suffered him.
All right. So suffered him to fulfill all righteousness.
Right.
All righteousness. The baptism fulfills all righteousness. All right. The Messiah baptized and said it was necessary to fulfill all righteousness. Then before he departed, he made this statement. Now put these two together and tell me now, why are you telling people that they should not be baptized? Read from verse 15.
Verse 15. And he said unto them, Go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved, but he that believeth not shall be damned.
All right. Believing is an action word. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved. Didn't say he that believeth. He that believeth and is baptized shall be saved. But he that believeth not shall be damned. So this believeth not didn't need the baptism here, because if you do not baptize, it means that you do not believe. All right. So if you do not believe, which means you do not believe enough to baptize, you shall be damned. Why are these people teaching people that the baptism is not necessary? It doesn't take the whole entire world. You see, it doesn't take the entire world to get someone to baptize someone. It doesn't even take a minute. And yet still, and it is said, if you don't do it, you will be damned, and you're teaching people that they should not do it.
Brother Brian,
Oh, yeah, yes.
is it the I think Moses, something about the wilderness? Why
Yeah.
there's that?
Yeah, they are using, on Just a Word, there are 2 articles on Just a Word based on baptism and explaining what all that the misunderstandings that they have. All right? As they are saying that when the Apostle Shaul said Moses baptized them in the wilderness, it means that the baptism was with the word. But that's not what it actually means. Shaul was just giving an example of baptism to show the parallel between the old covenant and the new covenant. All right? The new covenant, the spiritual covenant, has certain requirements that were hidden in the old covenant. All right? In the old covenant, there was ritual cleansing. In the new covenant, there is baptism, that once and for all is that ritual cleanse that you do once and for all, because of the Messiah's sacrifice once and for all. So because the Messiah offering, I don't like to say sacrifice, he's offering once and for all. So because the Messiah offered himself up for us once, we only need to cleanse once. And that is the baptism.
Brother B,
Yes, bro.
what I'm seeing there with those kind of teaching is a very thin line of a spirit of disobedience. The very fact that it takes nothing at all to be baptized, and the word say you need to do that, you know. So for them to teach against that, it is just a spirit creeping in their message to disobey, so they can be damned. That's it, you know.
Yeah.
That's it. Because
so a spirit has crept in.
Yeah, because if you really want to teach it the truth, and you measure whether or not it's a sin to baptize, you will say no. So the next thing to do was, okay, fine, you know what? Even if I'm not sure, let me go and do it.
Yes.
So you will always on the winning side.
Yes. And then these camps are covered with pride. That's another thing. They are like gangsters with a Bible. Seriously, a pride is there, and what I teach, and they war against other camps, and when they interact with each other, and the things they say about each other, you wouldn't believe that these are believers. So the spirit of pride is there, preventing them from learning anything different from what they believe. It's very, very sad. All right. So I just laid that foundation. I didn't even have, I had got the chance to start. So let me go to start off to show the difference for believers or the righteous as opposed to the wicked. And this, of course, is an encouragement for these times to tell us that if we overcome the world, it is ours. If we are in righteousness, then we are good. We are great. All right. So we'll go to 2nd Baruch. Of course, those of you who are here who might hear us using some books, these are books. We don't follow the Gentiles. The Gentiles have created a religion called Christianity. Their so-called church fathers, Gentile fathers, have decided which books we should read and which ones we should not read. We are not under the power of these Gentiles. We don't follow these Gentiles. Because we have found that the Most High has set apart some books for the end that give so much clarity and so much cohesion with the scriptures in the Bible that we know for sure that these books are valid books. And you're going to see one of them today and see how much it matches up. This is Baruch, the 2nd Baruch. And of course, Baruch was the scribe of Jeremiah. He wrote the books for Jeremiah. All right? So Jeremiah spoke and Baruch wrote. But Baruch himself was also a powerful prophet in his own right. The book of 1st Baruch, of course, is in the Apocrypha, and this is the 2nd book of Baruch, 44, verse 1. Read, please.
44. I, Baruch, went forth hence, and came to my people, and I called my firstborn son, and they,
Gedaliah,
my friends, and 7 of the elders of the people, and I said unto them.
Okay, let me give a background. This was Baruch after he had spoken with the angels, and he had certain dreams, and the angels explained certain dreams to him of what was to come in the end. And you're going to see that it lines up perfectly with all that is happening and all that is prophesied in the Bible. Continue, Queenie. Behold,
I go unto my fathers, according to the way of all the earth. But withdraw you not from the way of the law.
All right, the first advice, the very, very first advice, do not withdraw from the law. And it means when I say withdraw from the law, do not decide which of the law you decide to follow, and do not reject the law itself. Do not withdraw from it, but headlong go on into it. All right, seeking zealously to obey. Continue.
But guard and admonish the people which remain, lest they withdraw from the commandments of the Mighty One.
All right, less so. This is actually a warning. If you withdraw from the commandments of the Mighty One, then you are in trouble. And this is what has happened to us in this world, in captivity in the religion called Christianity. They have rejected the law and they have rejected the commandments of the Most High. They have not only withdrawn from the commandments, they have totally flat out rejected it. Right? And so a lot of them, they're sitting waiting on rapture and not knowing that it is destruction that is hovering over their head. The wrath of Yahuwah is hovering over their heads because they have rejected his commandments. Continue, please.
Verse 4. For you see that he whom we serve is just, and our Creator is no respecter of persons.
Okay, you see that again? No respecter of persons, and he is just. And justice is based on his commandments. His commandments contain statutes and judgments. So for him to be just, he needs to have his judgments, which are found in his law. Continue, verse 5.
And see you what hath befallen Zion, and what hath happened to Jerusalem?
They were in captivity. Baruch was speaking about their captivity in Babylon at the time. And we, of course, are in captivity in Babylon once again. Continue.
Verse 6. For the judgment of the Mighty One shall thereby be made known.
Mommy.
I'm talking in a minute. Sorry. And his ways, which thou past finding out, are right.
Which thou past finding out are right. So this is what Wayne was saying a while ago. He was saying, even if you don't understand it, then you just do it. And you do it because you accept that the Most High's ways are right. Even though I don't understand it, he said it, and he is right. Continue.
For if you endure and persevere in his fear, and do not forget his law, the times shall change over you for good, and you shall see the consolation of Zion.
All right, look on this one very carefully. If you endure and persevere in his fear. All right? Now, what is his fear? Psalm 111, verse 10. The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom, a good understanding of all they that do his commandments. So everything includes his commandments. From you fear him, you will do his commandments. All right? And do not forget his law. So if you do not forget his law, you remember his law, then the times shall change over you for good. And not only that, you shall see the consolation of Zion. This is what we're saying to the righteous. Obey his law through belief in his son. And in the end, you shall see the gathering back of his people to Zion. This is what we're telling us here today who are watching this. All right? This is how you ensure that you are among those who are gathered. Do not forget his law. All right? His law said, bid them wear fringes on the borders of their garments and let it be a riband of blue. It does not take anything for you to put on some fringes on your garments. It is those simple things that are going to damn a whole lot of us. It does not take anything to get some fringe on your garments and wear them. We see people making concerted effort, videos upon videos, why you should not wear fringe, because now we're in the new covenant and we can remember the commandments, and the commandments are written in our heart. Then if you ask them, do you ever sin and have to repent? None of them can say no. All of us will have incidental sins, and then we realize it. And the fringes are there to remind us each time we are tempted to go into sin, Looking upon the fringes, you remember his commandments and remember to whom you belong. Simple things like those we're talking about that we reject. Because we don't understand it, we reject it. And going back to what Wayne said, easy to do, just do it. Verse 9.
Because whatever is now is nothing, but that which shall be is very great.
All right, so this is very important. Whatever is now is nothing. Many of us take this world and we are so engrossed with the things and the cares of this world and want to make money, and we want to this and we want to that and want to pay this, want to that, and worried about the child going to school and what his grades are going to be and this and that. So worried about this Babylonian system, and it is nothing compared to that which is to come. And we spend very little time, very little emphasis on the things which are to come, and put so great emphasis on that which is now. Continue.
For everything that is corruptible shall pass away.
This too shall pass. Everything here shall pass. Continue.
And everything that dies shall depart. And all the present time shall be forgotten.
So all of this that we are fussing up ourselves about, all of this we shall soon forget everything about it. It's vanity. And I tell people that we are here for a test. That's what we are here for. This is not the real deal. The real deal is to come. All right?
Brother B.
And we place all the emphasis on this. Go ahead, Wayne.
In fact, so many of us can testify that we already forget so many stuff since this pandemic.
Yes. Yep. Continue, Queenie.
Nor shall there be any remembrance of the present time, which is defiled with evils.
So can you imagine we are fussing up ourselves about today, about now, and there will be no remembrance of it? Continue.
Verse 10, for that which runs now runs into vanity.
Vanity. That's what it says in Ecclesiastes. Continue.
And that which prosper shall quickly fall and be humiliated.
Where am I? Oh, yes. That which prospers shall quickly fall. Yes. So even though we're looking for prosperity, it's going to quickly fall and be brought down to nothing. My people, what is the whole duty of man as I speak about Ecclesiastes? Fear Yahuwah and keep his commandments. All of this vanity is nothing. All right? Set your affections on things above and not on the things of this earth, my people. Verse 11.
For that which is to be shall be. For that which is to be shall be the. Don't move it, Brian. Verse 11. For that which is to be shall be the object of desire. And for that which comes afterwards shall we hope.
All right, so all our hope is should be in what is to come and not on today. Continue. For it is
a time that passes not away.
So this is going to pass away, but that which is to come shall not pass away. So that is what we should be focusing on. Because if we focus on that which is here, we can lose that which is to come. And that which is to come cannot pass away. But that which is here shall fade away and no longer be remembered. No competition.
Just as in 1 Corinthians, I don't remember the exact verse where it says, if you only have hope in this life and not what to come, it makes no sense.
We are of men most miserable. Yeah, continue.
Verse 12, and the hour comes which abides forever. And the new world comes, which does not turn to corruption, those who depart to its blessedness.
All right. So the hour comes, which abides forever. So the eternity is coming upon us. And the new world, which does not turn to corruption, those who depart to it. So in the new world, if we make it to the new world, then we will not depart to corruption. But this present world will depart to corruption. That's why you have to separate ourselves from the present world. It's a set apart separate partners from this world. Continue. And has no
Brother
mercy.
Greg,
Yeah,
the
if
new
somebody go
world-
ahead.
the new world, I think you kind of have to like differentiate. I remember there are probing or they want a new world order. So you have to differentiate which new.
Yeah, the kingdom to come, the kingdom. Yeah, thanks for that.
And
Continue.
has no mercy on those who depart to torment, and leads not to perdition those who live in it.
All right, so in the new world, it has no mercy on those who depart to torment. So the sinners, those who fail to make it to the kingdom, will depart to torment. And it does not lead to perdition. Or perdition means damnation or destruction or ruin or loss. So those who enter into that world will not be reduced to damnation or destruction or ruin. Continue.
For these are they who shall inherit that time which has been spoken of, and theirs is the inheritance of the promised time.
So we have to ensure, brethren, that we are the ones who inherit the promised time. 14.
Verse 14. These are they who have acquired for themselves treasures of wisdom, and with them are found stores of understanding. And from mercy have they not withdrawn. And the truth of the law have they preserved.
Have they preserved? All right. So you see, this verse is very important, verse 14. These are they who have acquired for themselves treasures of wisdom. How do you get wisdom? We have to go to Psalms 111, verse 10. Let's take a break here. Go to Psalms 1. It's very important right here. Psalms 111, verse 10. These are they who have acquired for themselves treasures of wisdom, and with them are found stores of understanding. So wisdom and understanding are with them. Let's see. Read verse 10, please.
The fear of Yahuwah is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
So the wisdom, understanding are all intertwined, and fear of Yahuwah are all intertwined in doing his commandments. Very important. So this is telling us who will inherit the kingdom, That's what Baruch is telling us. Let's go back to it. He's telling us who will inherit the kingdom. And it says, these are they who have acquired for them treasures of wisdom, and with them are found stores of understanding. And the only way to get that is through his commandments. And it goes on to say, the truth of the law have they preserved. So let's finish with 15.
For to them shall be given the world to come, but the dwelling of the rest who are many shall be in the fire.
Oh, a remnant shall be saved, but the many shall be in destruction. To them, those who are wise, those who have understanding, those who obey and preserve the truth of his law, those who keep his commandments, shall have the world that is to come. Verse 2, 45:2.
Do you therefore, so far as you are able, instruct the people? For that labor is ours. For if you teach them, you will quicken them.
So this is a charge that we have to instruct the people. That is our charge. Those of us in this group, and we're telling you, those of us in the radio group, it is our charge to teach them so that we quicken them. So that is why we try every channel that is possible to try to reach them, to get to teach them. Right?
Brother B,
Yes, bro.
real quick again.
Yeah.
So at this point, we now understand that the Most High is about a nation of Israel, right?
Yeah.
So then now we have to also go back to the fact that he stated that only a few will be saved.
Mm-hmm.
So it is only a few of the Israelites he's talking, basically. Only a few will be saved.
Yep.
So it cannot be, as you were saying, everybody.
No. That's a false teaching. All right. So we're gonna show again what this is actually saying. You know, this is actually telling us about Revelation 14:12. The truth of the law have they not preserved, the law, understanding, wisdom, all of that. So we start at Revelation 14:9. We're gonna show the end time outcome and show the importance of obedience, importance of the commandments in overcoming. Because I have to put it to this time, because this is where we are actually in scripture right now. They are preparing to unleash the mark of the beast. We are in the season of the mark of the beast. So we have to see what can let us overcome the beast. All goes back to his commandments. I think we should go out there and teach the people about keeping the commandments through faith in the Messiah. That's the most important thing we can do. Because verse 9, read from verse 9, please.
Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Aloha, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
Okay, so remember, to understand the mark of the beast, it requires wisdom. Revelation 13:18 tells us. Let me go there. Revelation 13:18. Let's move according to how the Spirit leads. Remember, Baruch told us that these are they that have wisdom and have understanding. These are those who will inherit the kingdom in the end. So let's see what wisdom and understanding have to do with the mark of the beast. Read, please.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the
Hey! Here is wisdom. Let him that hath what? Understanding. The same two ingredients that Baruch spoke about. Read, please.
Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
All right. So people take this and say, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. And they are saying the number is 666. And that's all they stop at. It doesn't take any wisdom or understanding to figure this out. That is 666, because that is what the number means. But it takes wisdom and understanding to figure out that this is Chi Xi Stigma, which is Jesus Christ upon a cross. It requires wisdom. So those with the wisdom in the end will know this. All right. And for more clarity on the beast, the mark of the beast, there is a website called beastmark.org. That goes into great detail about the mark of the beast and explains what this 666 actually does mean. All right. But the bottom line is, it requires wisdom and understanding to figure out the mark. If you do not have the wisdom and understanding, then you will be messed up in the end. So continue in verse 10, please.
Verse 10. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Aloha, which is poured out without mixture in the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
Remember that Baruch said those who don't have the wisdom nor the understanding, they are those who will be in the fire. So this is the same thing that it's saying here. All right? Perfectly matching up with scripture. Go to verse 11.
Verse 11. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name.
All right. So it takes wisdom and understanding again to know what it means to worship the beast and his image. You have to first know what the beast is. You have to know what the image is. All right? And whosoever worship receiveth the mark of his name. So you have to know what the mark of his name is, what it means to worship the beast and his image. That is the only way you can overcome in the end. All right? And how will you know that? Verse 12 tells you how you're going to know that. Verse 12.
Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Allah and the faith of Yahushua.
This is how you overcome the beast. If you are not keeping the commandments of Yahuwah and the faith of Yahusha, then you cannot overcome the beast. And we're going to show you why. Babylon itself will be the ones who will be giving out this mark of the beast. Right? As you've said before many times up to last week, that Babylon is a system of wealth and worship. It is a system, a world system of wealth and worship. If you keep the commandments of Yahuwah and the faith of Yahusha, you will be trusting in Yahusha, in Yahuwah to provide. You will not be chasing down the wealth of this world. All right? So you will be able to flee from the midst of Babylon. So you will be able to escape Babylon. All right? Worship of the beast means honoring the beast, meaning living your life for the beast. And we know the beast is this world system, the nations of this world that have set up their world system. If you are there chasing down this world system, then it contradicts the commandments of Yahuwah. So if you are keeping the commandments of Yahuwah, then you will not be running down this beast system. All right? And if you are keeping the faith of Yahusha, you will not be running down this beast system. So that has to do with the wealth aspect of it. All right? Now, the worship aspect of it now is if you are keeping the faith of Yahusha and the commandments of Yahuwah, then you will be worshiping the true Alua and you will not be in their religion. Right? You would be worshiping the true Almighty One. So you will not be worshiping the beast, the woman who sits upon the beast, who gave us her religions, Christian and Islam. You would not be worshiping those. So that is why if the only way to overcome the beast, not only the mark of the beast, because the mark of the beast is different from the worship of the beast, because worship of the image of the beast, Jesus Christ on the cross, worship of the image of the beast, and in the end again, when these guys set up their new world order, they're going to give us a new image. That's another thing for another time. All right, for now, image of the beast, Jesus Christ on the cross. If you keep the faith of Yahusha and the commandments of Yahuwah, then you'll not be worshiping him. All right? So that's why it's important to keep the commandments. Hope I didn't digress too much. All right? Where was I? So, yes, after that, now we have to look at the beast worshippers being destroyed. So the righteous, in keeping in line with what we are saying in this presentation, the righteous will be preserved, and these are the righteous. And let's see what will happen to the worshippers of the beast. Verse 13.
Verse 13. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in Messiah from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them.
All right, so blessed are these. They will keep the commandments of Yahuwah and the faith of Yahusha and even die. All right? They are blessed. But, verse 14.
Verse 14. And I looked, and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle.
Uh-huh.
And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe.
Uh-huh. Time to reap. 16.
And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped.
All right. So let's go down now to 19.
Verse 19. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of Allah.
All right. So those who do not have the wisdom or the understanding, do not keep the commandments through faith in the Messiah, that is what will happen to them. Now we have more insights again into another book that's not in the Bible, that they took out of the Bible, but this book, the book of 2nd Esdras, is so invaluable, telling us things about the end times that are not in the Bible. This Esdras, of course, is the same Ezra. They put his first book in the Bible, but refused to put in his second and third books. This is the second book of Ezra, chapter 9, verse 3. Read, please.
2nd Ezra 9, verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shall thou will understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning.
Of course, Ezra was living at the time of the first Babylonian captivity. Continue.
Verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest.
And this was written at the time of the Babylonian captivity. Just to get you in perspective, how long ago this was written. Continue.
Verse 6. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs.
Continue.
And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed.
Stop. You see anything in this verse? Take a look at this verse. Somebody tell me what they see in this verse.
Those that will be saved are those that believe and obey.
And matches what? Matches the title, the verse that.
Revelations 14.
All right. All right. You have to emphasize that if you're not keeping the commandments, you're dead. Everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith. Works is keeping the commandments of Yahuwah, and faith is the faith of Yahusha. That is why James said, faith without works is what?
Dead.
So if you're not keeping the commandments, you're what?
Dead.
All right. Continue. Verse 8.
Verse 8. Shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land.
All right, stop there. Remember, we just showed that those who overcome the beast are those who do this. So this is exactly what he's saying, you know. That those of us in the end time, so what I'm saying to us as people, as believers, when we are encouraging you here to walk in righteousness, and people getting angry and miserable, y'all don't know what you're doing, and y'all don't know that it is because of love and because we want all of us together to be saved. Because if we are keeping the commandments and not rejecting his laws, not picking out what we think is good or not for us, right? If we are doing that, then we will be preserved from the said perils. And this is what the Messiah had said to his disciples. When he said, somebody find that verse for me, please. In the meantime, take care that you can escape what is to come upon the earth. You know that one? Somebody find that for me, please, in the meantime. So shall be preserved from the same perils. So if you're keeping the commandments and the faith, you shall be preserved from the same perils. All right, so when I find the verse, just tell me. And shall see my salvation. Continue.
Today. And shall see my salvation in my land, and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning.
You see this? Those who are walking in the shall see my salvation in my land, shall be brought back to the land of Israel, shall be among those who are gathered in the end. Because he has sanctified and set us apart from the beginning. Somebody don't find that verse yet?
Sister Janet posted it. We think it's at 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 3.
All right, Janet, I have to look to you to find the verses. You're fast. 1 Thessalonians 5, 2.
3.
No, not this one. No, Janet. No, Janet. It's the one when the Messiah was speaking with his disciples. When he says, I don't remember, they take care, I'm paraphrasing, that you are accounted worthy to escape. Let me find it because Luke 21:36. Read Luke 21:36, please.
Luke 21:36. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that we may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man.
Accounted worthy. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we are supposed to be striving at this time in the end time, getting down to the meat of the matter. We should be striving to move from righteousness unto holiness. Right? This is what, because we want to be accounted worthy to escape the things that will come to pass. And go backwards again, where we were, Esdras. All shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. Perhaps sanctify them from me from the beginning. So this is what we are striving for. Verse 9.
Verse 9. Then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments.
All right. So these are the people who reject his ways, his commandments, These are the people who reject his commandments. My people, your belief or your faith in Yahusha is nothing without following the commandments of the Most High. These are those who have abused my ways, abused his commandments, and have cast them away despitefully. Verse 10. Verse 10.
Verse 10. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me.
Continue.
And they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty, and when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it.
The same must what? Verse 12.
The same must know it after death by pain.
What these three verses are saying, those in their lives who live comfortably,
Is it
great, comfortable lives, and they didn't even know Yahuwah. Right? What the Most High is saying, even if you don't know him, you're still guilty, because the onus on you is to seek him. When you look around and see the natural things, you must realize, oh, there's a creator. And, oh, let me try to find him and seek him. But you receive benefits and you did not know him. All right, this was me not so long ago. Receiving benefits and not knowing him. I give thanks. I like to know him. And those that have loathed his law, these Christians who are saying the law is done away with, whoa, while they had the freedom to look at his law, and that he had gave them the chance to repent, because he sent people like us to them to tell them that no, the law is not done away with, you have a misunderstanding. But they despised it. The same must know it after death by pain. So after death, then they have to suffer for all of this. Continue, please. Some people have other think otherwise. Oh, they think about the suffering, yeah? Continue. Verse 13.
13. And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created.
All right. So this righteousness for whom the world is created is whom?
Israel.
All right. Verse 2 Ezra 6:55. Ezra is speaking about Israel. Read, please.
All this have I spoken before thee, O Yahuwah, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
Same thing, matching up again. He made the world for our sakes. The world was made for Israel. The world was made for the righteous people, the righteous remnant of Yahuwah, the children of Israel. So we are forcing up ourselves with this reality that we have, and the world to come was actually, the world is actually made for us, and we will get the world in the time to come. All right? So the world was created, where was I? The world was created for the righteous children of Israel. Because you have to understand what the meaning of the name Israel is. It actually means prince and power with Yahuwah. So it means the Messiah will be the king on this earth, and Israel will be the prince, and will be the power of the Most High that he will use to rule the world. That's simply it. Prince and power with Yahuwah. All right? We will be with him. We will be close to him. And we will rule the world. We will be his princes who are ruling the world, which is why the Bible says we will reign with the Messiah.
Brother Brian?
Yes, go ahead.
I was asking a question on the chat there. I don't know if you've seen it. So I was asking, how do we establish good works? It is referring to keeping the commandments, because I've seen a lot of people say that good works just means being a good person and being a decent human being. And they totally ignore the verses that talk about the commandments. So how can we establish to them that good works means keeping the commandments?
All right. Good works. All right. Let me get this verse. Read, please, verse 6, Queenie.
Isaiah 64:6. But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness are as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away.
All right, so this is what I'm going to say. We are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousnesses are as filthy rags. So our good works, our doing that which is right and doing that which is good, is only right in our own sights, and is only right in the mind and in the eyes of an unclean thing, and through whose righteousness are as filthy rags. So if we are to decide on what is good works, that decision will be based on us, the unclean thing, and us whose righteousness are as filthy rags. Right? You get what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
And I'm gonna put the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I understand
Jeremiah
this. It took me a few seconds, but I understand, because if you're saying I'm a good person, that is what you have decided for yourself as your righteousness. And this says here, our righteousness is filthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, and another one now to put the nail in the coffin. Then, verse 9. Read, please.
And the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it?
Oh, You see that, Mayo?
Yeah, yeah.
If the righteousness is left up to us with our deceitful hearts and our desperately wicked hearts, then that righteousness is definitely filthy rags. The standard of our righteousness has to be Yahuwah's standard of righteousness. Our standard of good works has to be Yahuwah's standard of good works. And his standard of righteousness and his standard of good works is his Torah, is his law. Right, Mayo?
Yes, yes, no, I've got you.
All
I
right.
get it.
Please excuse me a minute.
All right. So Mayo, you're going to read while you're here. 2nd Ezra 12, verse 9. Or is Samuel here? Samuel is here?
Yeah, Brother Ryan.
Oh, but your mic sounds so low.
Let me put it up.
Yeah, I want you to read. 2nd Ezra 12, 29.
Second is,
Yeah, read it, please.
and whereas thou sowest two feathers under the wings. Sorry, let me just take my screen up. And whereas thou sowest two feathers under the wings, passing over the head, that is on the right side.
Oh, let me interject here. This is Ezra. Ezra had a dream and the angel was actually interpreting his dream. All right? Continue, verse 30.
Verse 30. It signifies that these are they whom the highest has kept unto their end. This is the small kingdom and full of trouble, as thou sawest.
This is the what?
This is the small kingdom.
What size is the kingdom?
Small.
All right. The kingdom is small. These are they who they have kept to the end. This is the remnant he's speaking about. This is Israel in the end. And it says it is a small kingdom and full of trouble. So it's saying that in the end, the believers who are left will be few and full of trouble. Verse 31. Sherman, please mute. Please mute. Verse 31. Can someone read, please? Verse 31.
And the lion whom thou sawest rising up out of the wood and roaring and speaking to the eagle and rebuking her for unrighteousness with all words which thou dost heard.
Continue.
This is the anointed which the highest had kept for them and for their wickedness unto the end. He shall reprove them and shall upbraid them with their cruelty.
All right, so Ezra was seeing the Messiah from back in those days, in long time ago in Babylon. He was seeing the Messiah. Verse 33. Who will be coming for us in the end? Verse 33.
For he shall set them before him alive and in judgment, and shall rebuke them and correct them.
34.
For the rest of my people shall he deliver with mercy, those that have been pressed upon my borders, and he shall make them joyful until the coming of the day of judgment, whereof I have spoken unto thee from the beginning.
All right, so this is talking about the 1,000-year reign. People who shall be delivered with mercy and who shall be joyful until the coming day of judgment, and the day of judgment is after the 1,000 years. Verse 35.
Back.
Okay, Queenie.
Verse 35.
Verse 35. This is the dream that thou sawest, that these are the interpretation. No, these are the interpretations. Thou only has been meet to know this secret of the highest. Therefore, write all these things that thou hast seen in a book, and hide them.
And do what?
Hide them.
This is why these books have been allowed to be hidden from us until the end time. All right? These are secrets that have been hidden for the end times, which is why Now they are so prevalent now. People are reading them all over and getting the true understanding. Right? All right. Second Ezra 13. Second
So-
Ezra 13.
Brother B, before you got there,
Yeah.
so that is why when we say they take these books out, it is on purpose, but they're not knowing that what they're doing is fulfilling the Most High will.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Second Ezra 13, verse 8.
And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight.
Yes. So these are in the end. Remember in the book of Revelation, and we're gonna go there, where the kings of the earth came together to fight against him. Let me just say that the mark of the beast that these people are implementing, this is to gather together a whole host of transhumans to fight the Messiah when the Messiah returns. This is why they are giving us this mark of the beast, and this is why the Most High says there's no turning back if you take that mark. Because that mark will give them control over you, and not only control, it will give they will attempt to turn you into a subhuman with superhuman strength and abilities. That's what they're aiming.
And Brother B,
You're
we're
saying-
saying that it is just show up now that he's coming back very soon.
Exactly.
It's not far from here,
So-
it's very soon.
Yep. So they want to amass this army and want to include you and I in this army to fight our Messiah. So if we take anything insert that these people put into us at this time, anything that you see that they are saying that the whole world should take, that is a red flag. From they say the entire world must take it, it is a red flag. So their plan is actually to summon all of these transhumans, and when the Messiah returns, then through the programming that they're able to program you, then you will gather with them. Even though you're afraid, you'll gather with them and fight against the Messiah. Which is found in Revelation 19. Let's go to Revelation 19:19. Revelation 19:19. Read, please.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse, and against his army.
So this is what they want to include us in their army to fight against the Messiah when he returns. But guess what will happen? They cannot win. But yet still they do, because the Most High has placed it on their hearts to do it. Verse 20.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone.
And what happened to the remnant now? Because remember in Revelation 14:11-10, it had told us that the remnant would be slain before the Messiah. Right? Piecing the pieces together to get the picture. Verse 21, let's see what happened to the remnant, the rest of the army and those with the mark of the beast and those who want to fight the Messiah. Verse 21.
And the remnant were slain with the sword of them that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
All right. So this is the army that they are amassing together against the Messiah. That is spoken about in 2nd Ezra 8. All they which were gathered together to subdue him. Verse 9.
Verse 9. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war.
All right. So we are reading about what's gonna happen at this battle here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Continue.
Verse
Brother
10.
B,
Yes.
let me just interject real quick here. So
Yeah, man.
what we are seeing, you see, with the Tower of Babel, right?
Yeah.
They were going after the trying to go so high to Yahweh, right? And
Yeah.
they failed. So nothing is new under the sun. So
Nope.
what they are doing now is to fight against his son, trying to use
Yes.
us to fight against
Yes.
his son.
Yes.
They never give up, even though they know that they are losers.
Yes. And the common multiple again here is unity.
Exactly. Yep.
That is why they unity. They want to give us this.
Trying to
Go ahead.
get the whole world, 7 billion people, they're open for everyone to go in one accord as an army.
Yes.
Wow.
That's it. So just as in the original Tower of Babel, when they all spake one language and they all united and came together, this is what they're going to do today. But the language that they're going to speaking is they're going to be programmed. Each is going to be programmed through something that is inside them to that can actually alter their programming, their DNA, that mRNA thingy that can alter their programming and determine their thoughts, etc. So they're actually forcing us this time. At Babel, it was more or less a unified stance, but here they're gonna force some of us to go with their stance. Continue.
Verse 10. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests.
All right. This one needs figuring out. Yeah. And we're gonna show some other precepts, but the other precepts again are still gonna let it hang in the balance as to what actually this is. Verse 11.
And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid.
Go to 12.
Afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude.
So he had, this is very eye-opening to me when I read it. He called unto him a peaceable multitude. Verse 13.
And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, and some of them were bound, and other some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, Thou hast shewed thy servants these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. Shew me now yet the interpretation of this dream. For as I conceive in my mind understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind.
So in the end, it's gonna be a rocky journey, but you're gonna see. Continue.
For they that were not left were in heaviness.
All right.
Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind.
Therefore
are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare. Yet it is easier for them.
So stop here. In the end times, we shall come into great perils and many necessities.
Want of all
So
things.
here's the thing. We as believers in the end times, we must be prepared for a rough time. But the difference is we shall be saved out of it. So it's like this is nothing strange for us as believers. If you are a believer, you must have gone through times where things look impossible. Rough times where you're saying, what have I done to deserve this or something like that. But the Most High has always saved you out of it. It will be nothing different in the end. We'll be going through rough times, but the Most High is going to save us out.
Brother
All
B,
right? Yes, bro.
and that is why we must understand now that the blessing the church is talking about is not it. Because right now we should be going through all of these. So when that time comes, we should have an
Yes.
idea of what it is.
Yes. We should have had enough practice, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So if we don't have enough practice, we won't be able to tolerate or understand what is going to happen to us. We're going to panic.
Right.
And this is also the problem with the pre-tribulation doctrine. And they're saying that they are going to be taken away before any problem. So when a problem comes upon them, they are not going to be prepared for it because they would have thought that they would be outside of these problems.
That's dangerous.
Continue.
Verse 20. Yet it is easier for them that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. And he answered unto me and said, The interpretation of the vision shall I shew thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind. This is the interpretation.
All right, we're putting these in to let us show what we can expect in these end times. You have to know. Verse 23.
He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty.
Stop.
Faith
We
and
see your favorite. We see our favorite verse again. Are we seeing our favorite verse?
Revelation 14:12.
Revelation 14:12. They are they that keep the commandments of Yahuwah
And the faith.
and the faith of the Messiah. All right? This is consistent. So this is telling us that those now who do that, we will fall into danger. Continue.
Verse 24. Know this therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that be dead.
All right. So some people are saying, well, boy, he died and he escaped this. He never got to see this. Those who are in these end times who are going to face this thing, they are more blessed than they that be dead. Go on.
This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea. The same is he whom Aloha the highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind.
This is the Mashiach. This is the Messiah. All right. He will deliver his creation. He will deliver Israel. All right. That's why the Apostle Charles said creation groaneth to see the manifestation of the sons of Yahuwah. All right. It's the Messiah that is going to deliver the children of Israel. This is why it says in Deuteronomy 28:68, no man shall buy you, no man shall deliver you. One man shall deliver you, and that is the Mashiach. His own self shall deliver us. And he shall order them that are left behind. He shall be king, and we shall be the princes. Kings with him in the kingdom, but princes under him in the kingdom. Verse 27.
And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. This is the interpretation.
Uh-huh.
Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall
Uh-huh.
come, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another.
All right, you see, this is what's going to happen. And we see the unrest stirring up in this world. We see America look like it's teetering towards a civil war. This election is going to be a landmark election. All right? We see China versus India. We see a whole lot of things seeming to, just be ready for something to explode. In the end, this explosion will occur and everybody will turn on each other. Verse 32.
Verse 32. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I shewed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending.
Verse 33.
And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another.
Uh-huh.
And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come and to overcome him by fighting.
Uh-huh. So everybody's gonna come now. They're gonna gather everybody. All of their transhumans and everybody gathered together to fight the Messiah. Innumerable multitude of people from all over the world. Continue.
But he shall stand upon the top of the mount Zion, and Zion shall come, and shall be shewed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands.
All right. So people will say Zion has not yet been revealed. So the Zion that they're giving us is not the Zion. That's what some people say about this, because at this time it will be prepared and built. Verse 37.
And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest.
Uh-huh. Continue.
38. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto me.
All right. So this confirms what's in the Bible. Shall destroy them with the sword of his mouth. And we know the sword of his mouth is the Torah, is the law. And the law is like unto a flame. So this verse confirms it. Let me confirm it with a couple of verses. That it's the law that he will use to destroy them. So if he's going to use the law to destroy them, how can we say the law is done away with? No, Wayne, you tell me this now, Wayne. If he's going to use the law to destroy them upon the return, how can the law be done away?
There is
Question
no
for Wayne.
absolute way. No, yet all. Not possible.
All right, verse 15. Read verse 15, please, Queenie.
Revelation 19:15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Allah.
All right, so he's going to rule the nations with this sword, and the sword that he's going to rule the nation with is Torah, is the law. Revelation 19:21. Read, please.
And the remnants were slain with the sword of them that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
All right. So again, this is the Torah, and we're gonna show evidence that it is Torah by Hebrews 4:13. Hebrews 4:13, 12 to 13. Sorry. Read, please.
Hebrews 4, verse 12. For the word of Allah is quick.
Oh, the what?
The word of Allah.
The commandment is Torah. It's quick. This is the sword that comes out of the Messiah mouth. How can we say it's done away with and the Messiah is going to come with it and rule the world with it? Continue, please.
For the word of Allah is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
This is the Torah. This is the law that they say is done away with. 13.
Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do.
All right.
Brother Brian,
Yeah, go ahead.
I think as you're reading Hebrews 4:12, where it says for the word of the Lord, or whenever we see the word of the Lord, I think in the Christian arena, it's interpreting as meaning, just the words of the Bible, but not realizing that it's actually referring to the Torah and the commandments of the Lord, of the word of the Most High. So they're thinking the word as far as if the world doesn't understand what the word is about, that's what they're thinking that it's referring to, but it's actually referring to the Torah and the commandments. So that's what it is. It's a misinterpretation of the scriptures. That's part of it.
Excellent interjection, and thank you for bringing it out. The word of Yahuwah is his Torah, which is why the Messiah said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahuwah. That's it, the law and the prophet. And that is why it says to the law. In Isaiah 8:20, it says to the law and to the prophet, or to the testimony. If they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So the word of Yahuwah is his Torah, his commandments, his words. All right? So we just laid that foundation to show us what will happen in the end. So we are going to go to the more pleasant part now. And the more pleasant part is what will happen to the wicked, in which we will feel happy, and what will happen to the righteous, in which we'll also feel happy. Because the wicked have done wickedly and are doing more wickedly as days go by. So we cannot wait. If you are righteous, then you will not be able to stand the ways of the wicked, even though you do not respond emotionally and get carried away, but you just cannot wait for their destruction, their demise. And at times, you have to say, like I do sometimes, Father, just please keep me alive so that I can see the destruction of the wicked. 1 Samuel 2, verse 8 to 10. So is Mercia here? Oh, she's not
Yes,
here.
I am. But my
Oh, okay. Anytime I remember the punishment of the wicked, I always remember you because I know you can't wait. I know you can't wait, Mercia. Verse 2, verse 8. Start on verse 8, please.
2 Samuel 2, verse 8.
Oh, before you start, let me just say that we've brought together these verses, and these verses are going to give an understanding of what is to come and the hope that is there for us, and to give us a more understanding of the end times, a more understanding of Yahuwah, just very great understandings in these verses. Let's look at every word in these verses. Go ahead, please.
He raised up the poor out of the dust, and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahuwah's, and he hath set the world upon them.
All right, so this is going to happen in the end times. Those of us who are poor and struggling and everything, he will lift us up and be among princes. Because remember we said Israel means prince and power with Yahuwah. So we will be among princes and inherit the throne of his splendor. The Messiah, of course, will be the king sitting on the throne. Verse 9.
He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. For by strength shall no man prevail.
All right, so he will keep the feet of his saints. The saints will go through problems, they will go through trials, they will go through trouble and tribulations, but we will be preserved. We will be preserved, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness. Verse 10.
The adversaries of Yahuwah shall be broken into pieces. Out of heaven shall he thunder upon them. Yahuwah shall judge the ends of the earth, and he shall give strength unto his king, and exalt the horn of his anointed.
All right, so the Messiah shall return and reign in great power, and we shall be there reigning with him. Proverbs 11:20-21. Read, please.
When it comes up. Proverbs 11:21. They that are of a froward heart are abomination to Yahuwah, but such as are upright in their way are his delight.
So we want to be the ones who are upright in his way, because those with a froward heart, and froward means false, crooked, or perverse, we want to be those who are upright and so to be his delight. Verse 21.
Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished, but the seed of the righteousness shall be delivered.
The seed of the righteous shall be what?
Delivered.
So what does delivered mean? Delivered means that you're going to be in problem, but he's going to deliver you out of the problem. Right? So in the end time, these people will be coming with their foolishness, and let's not be afraid. Let's just sit on the promises that whatever they are coming with, we shall be delivered. Yes, Brown.
Okay, so this part here that says seed of the righteous shall be delivered. So basically they'll at some point be in trouble, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. So I'm just trying to marry this with a section in Revelation. I think it's 3 verse 20 or somewhere near there. When the Messiah said, if you are victorious, you'll be on my throne. So if you're victorious, that means you're in a warfare.
Yes.
To be victorious from.
Yes. Yes, sir.
So, Brother Brian,
yes.
Speaking of the seed, it says, but the seed. I don't know if I'm thinking too literal. Does that have anything to do with maybe children or anything? Or
yes.
Yes, the seed of Abraham, right?
Yes, this is your lineage.
Oh, okay.
This is your lineage.
Okay.
That includes your children. But
remnant of Israel, the righteous remnant of Israel.
So here's a reason again why we have to go through a little trouble. The time of Jacob's trouble tells us why we have to go through a little trouble. Verse 11.
Verse 11. For I am with thee, saith Yahuwah, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished.
All right, Wayne. So you see, that's why you have to go through a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Exactly. And also I'm seeing something here in this verse, because it is showing to us that we will not get it right. We will not all get it right. Because it says, he'll make a full end of all nations, whither I have scattered thee. Yet I will not make a full end of thee, but I will correct thee. So if he has to correct us, that means right now we don't know it all.
Yeah.
We will still be in error, but he will actually put his truth on our heart.
All right, but the correct thee in measure is to get us to perfection. So here's the thing now. We have to press ourselves. Here's the thing. How we respond will depend on how we are treated in the end. Meaning, if we make all the sacrifices now and take away all the little dross from now, we make all the decisions, we deny ourselves everything and are willing to make our sacrifices from now, then it's going to be easier for us in the future. The reason we are going to be under tough times in the future is because we had held on to this world. And so in the future, going through all the problems, then we'll have to go through the fire in order to get us to where we would have been had we have denied ourselves in the first place. So that's why you see us like here in the group pushing people. We don't want us to be to the point where the time of trouble comes and you are so far behind spiritually that the Most High has to make you be going through all of these tough things in order to get you where you should be. We want to, from now, to have gone through all of that cleansing process so that when the time of trouble comes, then you can escape much of the trouble. Simply what we're saying.
And
Ready?
he will perfect us in the end as we're following him and seeking after him, and he will make us perfect at the time that we need to be perfected.
Oh, no, man.
Yeah, but it's up to us. If we don't deny ourselves, it's going to be a battle.
Yes.
So this is a time when we need to take heed and take rebuke and take correction and all of that and try our best. Okay, that's not right. Okay, let's try to get that straight. Let's try to get that right. That's what we should be doing in the end. Psalm 112. These verses should be speaking to us in different ways. Where was I? Verse 5, I think. Verse 4, read from verse 4.
Psalm 112, verse 4. Unto the upright there ariseth light in the darkness. He is gracious and full of compassion and righteous.
All right, there ariseth light in the darkness. To the upright, all right? There ariseth light in the darkness. So whatever he's going through, light will come upon him because of his righteousness. And he's gracious. This is describing the righteous, the upright. Gracious, full of compassion and righteous. Verse 5.
Verse 5. A good man sheweth favor and lendeth. He will guide his affairs with discretion. Surely he shall not be moved forever. The righteous shall be in everlasting remembrance.
Because the Most High has the righteous in everlasting remembrance. Not gonna let them down. Verse 7.
Verse 7. He shall not be afraid of evil tidings. His heart is fixed, trusting in Yahuwah.
All right, so this is what we're saying for us in righteousness. All we have to do now is just focus on righteousness. So that when the time of trouble comes, we can be confident, knowing who our help is. Continue.
Verse 8. His heart is established. He shall not be afraid until he see his desire upon his enemies.
All right, so the righteous will be those who will live to see their desires upon their enemies. Verse 9.
He hath dispersed, he hath given to the poor. His righteousness endureth forever. His horn shall be exalted with honor.
Verse
the wicked
10.
shall see it and be grieved. He shall gnash with his teeth and melt away. The desire of the wicked shall perish.
All right. So the wicked cannot overcome the righteous. So the wicked shall see the righteous and shall gnash with his teeth and try to destroy the righteous. And the Most High is going to protect the righteous. This is what we are saying. He is going to protect the righteous. Psalm 118. This is what we are trying to say. The righteous will be protected. At lunchtime. I'm trying to figure it coming, yeah. All right. I'm trying to remember where I was. Verse 7. No. Verse 6.
Psalms 118.
No, no, hold on. Verse 5. Go on.
Verse 5. I called upon Yahweh in distress. Yahweh answered me and set me in a large place. Yahweh is on my...
Go ahead.
I will not fear. What can man do unto me?
What can they do unto us? This is what we should be saying. Instead of fearing them, we should be saying, what do you really think you can do to me? Yeah, and Yahweh is on my side. Continue.
Yahweh taketh my part with them that help me. Therefore shall I see my desire upon them that hate me.
And this is consistent again. Seeing the desires upon our desires upon our enemies. Verse 8.
Verse 8. It is better to trust in...
Are your background on?
It's gone now.
Go ahead.
Psalms 118 verse 8. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in man. It is better to trust in Yahweh than to put confidence in princes. All nations compassed me about, but in the name of Yahweh will I destroy them. They compass me about, yea, they compass me about, but in the name of Yahweh I will destroy them. They compass me about like...
Verse 14. 14.
Yahweh is my strength and song, and is become my salvation. The voice of rejoicing and salvation is in the tabernacles of the righteous. The right hand of Yahweh doeth valiantly. Sorry. The right hand of Yahweh.
Hold on. Proverbs 12, 2-3.
Sorry.
Read, please.
Proverbs 12, verse 2. A good man obtaineth favor of Yahweh, but a man of wicked devices will be condemned.
All right, so we have our favors in this end time. Verse 3.
I'm coming. A man shall not be established by wickedness, but the roots of the righteous shall not be moved.
So all of these rewards for the righteous. Verse 7. Verse 7.
Verse 7. The wicked are overthrown and are not, but the house of the righteous shall stand.
All right. Wicked overthrown, righteous standing.
But why did it say and are not? And are not what?
The wicked are overthrown and are not. That means they no longer exist.
Oh, okay. Well, they're overthrown and no more. And
yeah. Psalms 58. 3. Read, please.
Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they are born, speaking lies.
All right. The wicked are liars from their born. They were born righteous.
Verse 10. The righteous shall rejoice when he seeth the vengeance. He shall wash his feet in the blood of the wicked.
All right, so this is what we are saying. Even when they're going through the thing, the righteous in the last days will live to see the destruction of the wicked. Verse 11.
So that a man shall say, verily there is a reward for the righteous. Verily, he is a Alua that judgeth the earth.
Oh, you see the difference? In the end, because a lot of righteous people are at this time pensive as to what is coming. In the end, it will say, hey, truly, there is a reward for the righteous, for Alua judgeth in the earth. So the righteous will get their reward to see the destruction of the wicked. All right? So in Egypt, we're going to show another aspect that in Egypt, the children of Israel went through some troubles and some of the plagues before the plagues no longer took them. All right? Some of the plagues they went through. And I'm going to look at one account and get a more detailed account of it. Exodus 10:23. I'm going to get a more detailed account of this verse in the book of Joshua. And we should use it before in another teaching. Read, please. This was talking about the 3 days of darkness.
Exodus 10:23. They saw not one another, neither arose any from his place for 3 days. But all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. And Pharaoh...
No. This is it. The Bible says all the children of Israel had light in their dwellings. But the book of Joshua went further to qualify it and tell us that these were the righteous children of Israel who were obedient, had light in their dwellings, and there were some Israelites who rebelled, who did not obey, and they also were destroyed like the Egyptians. Very important. Let's go to the book of Joshua. Joshua 80, 36 to 39. This is another of the books that was not in the Bible. But of course, this book, along with the book of Enoch, the book of Jubilees, all the books of the Bible were found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Verse 36.
And Alua sent darkness upon Egypt, that the whole land of Egypt and Pathros became dark for 3 days, so that a man could not see his hand when he lifted it to his mouth. At that time died many of the people of Israel who had rebelled against Yahweh and who had not hearkened to Moses and Aaron, and believed not in them that Alua had sent them.
All right. So this is another thing now. The children of Israel who were rebellious, they died in the 3 days of darkness. All right. Continue. Verse 38.
And who had said, we will not go forth from Egypt lest we perish with hunger in a desolate wilderness, and who would not hearken to the voice of Moses.
And what?
And Yahuwah plagued them in the 3 days of darkness, and the Israelites buried them in those days, without the Egyptians knowing of them or rejoicing over them.
So maybe that's why it's not recorded in the Bible. Maybe that's not recorded in the Bible. They didn't want Egyptians to know. All right. But by the 10th plague, also the plague of the cattle, they did not touch the Israelites' cattle. But by the 10th plague, no Israelites were touched, the firstborn, because they all obeyed. They all obeyed and put the blood over the lentils, because by the time the 3 days of darkness had arrived, they got to realize that they must obey. So the rebellious ones were taken out, and those that were left, the remnant, kept the Passover, and so they were spared. Just want to interject that in as well. Psalms 140, of course, we're continuing showing the difference between the end of the righteous and the end of the wicked in the end times. Psalm 40. The wicked are having their day, plotting, scheming, trying to get this world to follow after their order, to follow after their system. And the Most High is just waiting to destroy them. Read, please, verse 4.
Psalms 140, verse 4. Keep me, O Yahuwah, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have purpose to overthrow my goings.
So this is what is happening in this world. The wicked, the violent man, they have purpose to overthrow our lives. Totally overthrow our lives, telling us that we can't do this if we don't have that. You're not wearing a mask, you can't go inside the store. You can't do this. And these are all from the wicked, because all of these things are by their design. Verse 5.
Verse 5. The proud have hid a snare for me and cords. They have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me, Selah.
Verse 6.
I said unto Yahuwah, Thou art my Elohim. Hear the voice of my supplications, O Yahuwah.
Continue.
O Alua, Yahuwah, the strength of my salvation. Thou hast covered my head in the day of battle.
I see here, thou hast covered my head in the day of battle.
War.
So while we're going through the battle, he has covered our heads. Remember, he didn't say you took me away from the battle. He said you covered my head in the day of battle. All right? So that I can overcome the enemy.
So he was protected.
Yes. Protected in the day of battle. Verse 8.
Grant not, O Yahuwah, the desires of the wicked. Further not his wicked device, lest they exalt themselves. Selah.
Verse 9.
As for the head of those that compass me about, let the mischief of their own lips cover them.
All right. Verse 12.
Let burning coals fall upon them.
Verse 12. Verse 12.
I know that Yahuwah will maintain the cause of the afflicted and the right of the poor. Surely the righteous shall give thanks unto thy name. The upright shall dwell in thy presence.
All right. So reward again for the righteous. All we have to do in this end time, as Wayne said yesterday, I think it's one of his voice notes, all we have to be concentrating on is just doing what is right in the eyes of Yahuwah. Not worrying about anything. He will take care of everything else. Just concentrate on living in righteousness. That is all. 24.
Verse 24. He that saith unto the wicked, thou art righteous.
No, sorry, my bad. Proverbs 10:24. Continue.
Proverbs 10:24. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted.
So this is what we're saying. All we have to do is concentrate on being righteous, doing that is what is right. The desire of the righteous shall be granted. Verse 25.
Verse 25. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more, but the righteous is an everlasting foundation.
All right, again, righteous everlasting. Verse 27.
The fear of Yahuwah prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened.
Uh-huh.
The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the days of the wicked shall perish.
29.
The way of Yahuwah is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity.
All right. Psalms 125, 1 to 5. Go ahead.
A song of decrees. They that trust in Yahuwah shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever.
Cannot be removed. Verse 2.
As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so Yahuwah is round about his people from henceforth, even forever.
So even while we are going through this trouble, the Most High is around us same way. You'll never leave us nor forsake us.
Yes.
So we don't have to worry. You're saying something?
No, I was just confirming what you were saying.
Yeah. Verse 3.
For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity.
So here's this now. This is a very important verse. So even though we are going through the troubles, or though we might go through little tribulation, little trials, the Most High, they hear this, and hear this carefully. The Most High will not allow them to pressure us for any extended time, lest we get weary, right? And fall into sin. It is the same reason the Messiah said that the days are shortened for the sake of the elect. If the days were not shortened for the elect saved, no one will be saved. So he will not allow the wicked to be putting us to the point where we cannot survive. Just always remember this.
And Brother B.
Yes, bro.
And also, that is why he will not give us more than we can manage. Because if he allow that, the enemy will push us more than we can manage and kill us.
Yes.
So before that happened, he cut the day short. So,
yep.
Man, come on, man. This is deep.
Yep. And the rest here means stay, dwell, remain. So the rod, the pressure that he's putting on us, even in this time when they're going to put this mark on the beast and said, all right, you cannot buy and you cannot sell. And we're like, wow, how am I going to eat? The Most High is not going to allow them to have us to the point where we are starving. We have to feel like I have to actually give up. No. All of these things that we say about the righteous, the Most High is going to preserve us through it all. All we have to do, as Wayne said, is concentrate on doing that which is right.
And Brother B, just to add to what you were saying, you see, when they put on that pressure on us, right? You will feel that pressure. If you are on the border of disobedience, you will feel that pressure and want to go do what they say.
Yes.
But when you obey, you will understand that them pressuring you can be but just so much. That's it.
Yes. I give you more than they can bear. The Most I will not allow it. Oh.
I really want to jump
Verse
for
4?
joy right now.
Yes.
Do good, O Yahuwah, unto those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts.
You see this? Yahuwah does good to those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts. Verse 5.
As for such as turn aside unto their crooked ways, Yahuwah shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity, but peace shall be upon his Israel.
So this is again, as we go talk about all Israel shall be saved. What is David saying here? He's saying that those that turn aside, those Israelites who go on into sin, Yahuwah shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity, with the wicked people of this earth. But peace shall be upon Israel. The end time remnant of Israel shall have shalom, shall have peace. But the rest who go off into their crooked ways shall be led forth with the workers of iniquity. Right? All right. Psalm 64, verse 2. So right now we should be looking and saying, bring it on. That's where we should be. Verse 2.
Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
And we know their counsel is to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. All right? The secret counsel of the wicked are those nations that come together and conspire against Israel. Continue.
Verse 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Continue.
They that may shoot in secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
This is what they're doing. They continue to do. Laying snares for us. Continue.
They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But Allah shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded.
All right,
So
go to verse 10.
The righteous shall be glad in Yahuwah and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory.
All right. Everything good for the righteous. Everything good for the righteous. Psalm 92, 7. Read, please.
Psalms 92, 7. When the wicked spring as a grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever.
Continue.
But thou, Yahuwah, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Yahuwah, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered.
These are the nations of this earth. You have a noise behind you, Queenie.
Remember, Sarah, there's a gentleman passing on the road with his trolley.
Oh, it's everything. Pick up everything. All right. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. All right. These are the nations of the earth. The wicked nations of the earth. But my horn, verse 10.
But my horn shall thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil.
So no matter what the wicked do, it's just a matter of time before the Most High sorts them out. Verse 11.
Mine eye also shall be my desire on mine enemies.
Shall see my desire.
Mine eyes also shall see my desire on mine enemies, and mine ear shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon.
The righteous shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Verse 13.
Those that be planted in the house of Yahuwah shall flourish in the courts of our Allah.
Verse 14.
They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. Yahuwah is upright, my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him.
All right. So, Psalm 97, verse 10. Read, please.
Psalm 97, verse 10. Ye that love Yahuwah, hate evil. He preserveth the souls of his saints. He delivereth them out of the hand of the wicked.
Once again, we see here, the wicked, it is not that we will not be in the hand of the wicked, and it is not that we are not going to be in trouble, but he is going to deliver us out. He's going to preserve us. Continue.
Verse 11, light is sown for the righteous, and gladness for the upright in heart. Rejoice in Yahuwah, ye righteous, and give thanks at the remembrance of his holiness.
All right. Okay, let's get some instructions from Job, giving us some good advice here. Verse 13, read please.
Job 11:13. If thou prepare thine heart and stretch out thine hands toward him, if iniquity be found in thine hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles.
All right, you hear that? Your son in the background are hearing his voice squealing. And I'm not using the headphone, so I can imagine if I have on a headphone how noisy it will be. You can just ask him to, yeah. If iniquity be in thine hand, put it far away, and let not wickedness dwell in thy tabernacles. Verse 15.
For then shalt thou lift up thy face without spot. Yea, thou shalt be steadfast and shalt not fear.
All right, so this is when you're not fearing now. When you know and you are clean in your heart and mind that you are walking in righteousness. You're walking in his statutes, you're walking in his commandments, you believe in the Messiah, walking in righteousness, you're upright. When you are now without spot, so you can be steadfast and not fear. Verse 16.
Because thou shalt forget thy misery, and remember it as waters that pass away.
Yeah.
Thine age shall be clearer than the noonday. Thou shalt shine forth. Thou shalt be as the morning.
And thou shalt be?
And thou shalt be secure, because there is hope. Yea, thou shalt dig about thee, and thou shalt take thy rest in safety.
So this is what, as we were saying, as Wayne was saying, all we have to do is righteousness. Just consider righteousness, to do that which is right. That is all we need to do. Then we shall be secure and have hope. All right. Continue. Also,
verse 19. Also thou shalt lie down, and none shall make thee afraid. Yea, many shall make suit unto thee.
All right, you will be well comfortable, Mr. Righteous. Verse 20.
But the eyes of the wicked shall fail, and they shall not escape, and their hope shall be as the giving up of the ghost, or of the spirit.
Now, soon coming to an end, should be, but we're going to look at an account that kind of mirrors what is to come in the end time, and we will see how the righteous are handled and get an idea of how spiritually we will be handled in the end. Genesis 18:22. Read, please.
Genesis 18:22. And the men turned their faces from them and went toward Sodom, but Abraham stood yet before Yahuwah. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou also destroy the righteous with the wicked?
Okay, before we go along, this is very interesting because Abraham stood before Yahuwah, where was the angel of Yahuwah. This is what deludes a whole lot of people, a whole lot of Christians. They see the Messiah speaking and speaking certain things and reference to him as if he was the Most High. When there is a representative for the Most High, that person speaks as the Most High, which is why the prophet said, thus saith Yahuwah, and speak in the first person as if they are Yahuwah. When the angel comes, the angel speaks as Yahuwah, and they even refer to the angel as Yahuwah because they bear the words of Yahuwah. Just want to interject that. Verse 24.
Pre-adventure, there be 50 righteous within the city. Wilt thou also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous that are therein? Verse 25. That be far from thee to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked, that be far from thee. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?
All right. So here's the point now. The Most High will not slay the righteous with the wicked. Very important. He will not slay, let me say it again, he will not slay the righteous with the wicked. He always makes a separation between the righteous and the wicked. Which is why in the end, before the destruction of the wicked, there will be a separation of the righteous and the wicked as he did with Lot. Verse 26.
Verse 26. And Yahuwah said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the place for their sakes.
All right, and we know he didn't find the 50 or whatever, he went down to 5 or something like that, or 10. So let's go 19 verse 15 to see how he dealt with Lot. All right, read please.
Genesis 19:15. And when the morning arose, then the angel hastened Lot, saying, arise, take thy wife and thy 2 daughters, which are here, lest thou be consumed in the iniquity of the city.
All right. So this matches Revelation 18:4. Come out of her, my people, so that you would be not partakers of her sins. This is the same thing. Before Babylon is destroyed, he encourages us to get out. And which is why it says in Jeremiah 51:5-6, flee from the midst of Babylon. Before the destruction, the righteous are taken out. Continue.
Verse 16. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, and Yahuwah being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him without the city. Thanks.
All right, verse 17.
And it came to pass, when they had brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for thy life, look not behind thee, neither stay thou in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest thou be consumed. And Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my master. Behold now, thy servant hath found grace in thy sight, and thou hast magnified thy mercy, which thou hast shewed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me, and I die. Behold now, this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live.
Continue.
Unto him, see, I have accepted thee concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city, for the which thou hast spoken. Haste thee, escape thither, for I cannot do anything till thou become thither. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar.
All right, so this is what I want you all to look at now. I cannot do anything till thou become thither. What is that saying? What is that saying?
Come out of the blindness. or
No.
come to righteousness?
What is that
Then he
saying?
will,
No?
I
then he will
can't
always
come
send the
until you
warning.
guys get it right.
One person.
I can't come until you guys get it right.
No.
I can't do anything
It's
until
a,
you guys leave.
all right. Yeah, that's it. So in these end times that we are living in, the destruction cannot come to these people until we are taken out. This is what it's saying. And
Hence,
So
we're saying, come out of her, my people.
yes, not only that, the physical destruction, we will be taken to a safe haven away from the physical destruction. Look here. While he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand and upon the hand of his wife and upon the hand of his two daughters, Yahuwah being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth and set him outside the city. So we will be taken
question.
into a safe haven. Go ahead.
Brother Brian, what do you
Yes.
think of what is happening? What do you think of what is happening now? Just like a partial exodus going on. Is that what you're talking about? Or is that right? Like so many people are moving here, there, and everywhere. Some people are waking up, and some are just like Pan-Africans who are just moving back to Africa. So what would you say about that?
They are still gathered. The Exodus will be a gathering of his people together. The Exodus will be a gathering. Yeah.
So it's like is not saying to move now, right? I'm just wondering because I'm hearing so many different things. So should we leave? Should we remain? And because he's saying, "Come out of my people," and where some of us are not sure if what to do.
Okay, we did a video called "Flee to the Mountains." You should watch that one. Where we looked at the conclusion was while we are in captivity, the Most High never ever instructed us to flee captivity. Captivity is I will gather you.
Okay.
He will do his thing, and we will know. And when he says he will gather us, and he says, and he shall know that I am Yahuwah, which means that when he does it, it's gonna be so plain and profound that everyone will be celebrating and says, yes, it's Yahuwah that's doing it.
So that all of that goes back to Ezekiel when he says, for his name's sake. Can we conclude all that? Everything that he does will be for his name's sake.
Yes.
Has nothing to do with us, really.
Yes. And that is why I said, no man shall redeem you. He alone. When we are redeemed, we are going to know and give esteem to his name. That yes, he was the one who did it.
Okay.
Right?
So, Brother Brian,
Yes.
It's the same as it was when he went into Egypt and brought our ancestors out?
Yeah.
Is that the picture?
Yes. And remember we shared in another teaching when the Ephraimites decided that the time was up, the time of their captivity was up, and that they were going to take themselves, they gathered them together in all their strength and decided that they were going to leave Egypt. And when they left Egypt, a group of a nation came against them and whooped them. So they had to flee back to Egypt.
Right.
Which was instructive in that the Most High was saying, oh, you can't deliver yourself in your own strength. You have to wait on me.
Okay.
Yeah. So us now, we are looking 2019. Oh, everything should be over. It's the same thing happened to the Ephraimites. That's what they did. They were saying, okay, our time is up.
Brother B.
Huh?
Brother B.
Someone else saying something?
Yeah, I was just trying to add to what the questions that were just asked. Of course, it will be the Most High who will gather us back, because He said in His word that He's the one who sent us all over this nation. So He's the one who will gather us back. So I think the question that some are asking, because I come against the same questions too. For example, if you live in Jamaica, right, and you move to America, they are thinking that is what it is by going back to Jamaica, is trying to escape from the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, but he had also said, let every man go back to his own country. So
exactly,
if you're in the midst of Babylon and you can go back to your own country, then that is okay.
So what happened is, if you were born here, this is your country, basically. If you leave from somewhere to come here, this would not be your country, where...
Yeah, but I think Mercia is talking about, like, you have some, what do they call them? African Americans who are now going over to Africa.
Yeah. And not just African Americans, it's a whole walk of people who have awakened and they go into Africa, different parts of Africa.
Yeah.
But is that a scripture, what you just said a while ago about going back to your own country?
Yes.
Where is that? I haven't.
Jeremiah 51, verse 9, I think.
Okay.
Let me read it.
I'll check it out.
Let me read it.
Okay.
Yeah, verse 9. Memory not bad. Read from verse 8, Queenie. No, verse 9. Read verse 9. Oh, it's not up. Queen is there?
Yes, I'm here.
Read it, please.
Jeremiah 15, verse 9.
51.
51, sorry. Verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and he's lifted up even in the skies, to the skies.
All right. Yeah, so that is the one to his own country. So you're there, you want to go home, you go home.
So that's the same thing that Brother Wayne was saying, right?
Yeah.
Well, referring to the question I asked before, these African Americans, they consider themselves to be Africans per se, and those who have awakened. So I guess that's why they're going back to going to Africa. But my thing has always been, if the governments that are there are still into Babylon ways, it's a system, then why go to these countries?
Exactly.
And you have all these Russia and everyone else fighting, and China and all them fighting to want to have those countries. So then how can we go to those countries?
Exactly. And it is because of the Babylonian system as well, while those countries are inviting them, because those countries want them to come with their education and their capital,
their money,
in order to build them up.
Right.
And also, they would not know where to go, because they can't know the Most High way. He's going to take them to a particular place. They don't know. So, they can just move to Africa and say, okay, this is the place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, but the Most High says that he is going to do the gathering. So none of us really belong in any of these places, because these are not the countries of our origin. We were all brought here on slave ships, so we didn't belong to. It doesn't make any difference what country you go in. And if he's going to gather his people from the four corners, then what? Just because you leave America and go to Jamaica, he still got to pull you.
Yeah, that's a point. But I guess when it says to your own country, it actually means people like us who leave from here and go into like America. Go back to where you grew up, because we were brought here in our captivity, and we left and went into another place of captivity. So I guess it's saying you can go back to where you were originally.
And that is exactly the way how it is coming to me. Also, who told you that you should live into America? I didn't say that to you. Where you going? go back to your country. I will come there and get you from there.
Yeah,
You know?
that's another side of it. That's another side of it.
For real.
Yeah.
This is
So,
what there.
so while we're speaking about captivity and everything, we are gonna end on a verse that tells exactly what is going to happen to us in the end. Zephaniah 3. This is where we're gonna end. Where is it? This is where we're gonna end. So this is Yahuwah now speaking to us. So after we are done through all that we have gone through and the teachings that we have gone through today, this is a conclusion coming from the Most High. Read, please.
Zephaniah 3, verse 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith Yahuwah.
Stop. You see this? This is exactly what you were just speaking about, right, Marcia? Therefore, do what?
Yahuwah said what?
Wait ye upon me.
Therefore,
wait ye upon
me, saith Yahuwah. Continue, Queenie.
Until the day that I rise up to the prey.
All right, so what does that mean? Until the time for his gathering. Just wait on that day. Because the wicked will be destroyed, but you will be protected. All right? The day of the wicked, that is when, the time of the wicked, that is when we will be delivered. Continue, Queenie.
For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy.
This goes back to the time of Lot. As we said, it is going to be the same principle. All right? The wicked doing wickedly, and then the righteous being delivered, and the wicked being punished. Verse, continue.
For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahuwah, to serve him with one consent.
And remember, when were we speaking this? When were talking about this? And
one word.
Yes, and I was saying that all of these Israelite camps, that they will never come together. All of us, we cannot be on one accord. And will not be on one accord. And the Most High will allow us to always be fractionalized until he brings us together and unites us. Then we will serve him with one consent. And this is when I said, of course, they will be brought in the wilderness.
That was in the Yom Teruah.
Oh yes. Read verse 9.
Verse 9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahuwah, to serve him with one consent.
Continue.
From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offerings. In that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings, wherein thou hast transgressed against me. For then I will take away out of the midst of thee them that rejoice in thy pride, and thou shalt no more be haughty because of my holy mountain.
Continue.
I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahuwah. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid.
The righteous remnant. All right, righteous remnant. Continue.
Verse 14.
Yep.
Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. Yahuwah hath taken away thy judgments. He hath cast out thine enemy. The King of Israel, even Yahuwah, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore.
All right, we're going to rejoice while we're going through this. This is what is happening. This is the process. All right, we have to rejoice in this process. Continue.
Verse 16. In that day it shall be said to Jerusalem, fear thou not, and to Zion, let not thine hands be slack. Yahuwah thy Eloah in the midst of thee is mighty. He will save. He will rejoice over thee with joy. He will rest in his love. He will joy over thee with singing.
He will save his people. 18.
Verse 18. I will gather them that are sorrowful from the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was burden.
19.
Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halted, and gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame.
All right, when he's going to empower us back to the power of the time of the, as it's described in the book of Joshua. Verse 20.
Verse 20. At that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith Yahuwah.
All right. So this is what we wait on. He will gather us. And when he gathers us, it won't be anything good, because he will make us a name and a praise among all people of the earth. We will be the celebrities of the earth. We will be who are the nations that have remained after the destruction. They will look up to us as a people. This is what we look forward to, people. We don't worry about what these people can do, or what they threaten to do, or what they are planning to do with their mark of the beast, or any sort of things that they are threatening us with. They cannot overcome us or overwhelm us, because they are the wicked, and the wicked cannot overpower us. They cannot overcome us. Fear not is the Most High's cry. Fear not, be bold in all that you do, and do not be afraid of those who now have the power of the earth, because they are just for a time, and they will be like the wind that bloweth away, as the Most High will deal with them, and he will protect us at the same time. He will not give us more than we can bear. Whatever we are going through is just for a little season, and then we will triumph. So all we need to do is to live in righteousness. That is all. Keep the commandments of Yahuwah through belief in his Son. Love with an unfailing love, and obey with the obedience of a child. All right? And no wicked can overpower us. All right? Okay. Any questions, comments, etc.?
Yeah, I have a comment. So from the scriptures that you've shared, it's very clear that Yahuwah saves his remnant from the oppressor, from the enemy, right? And then from there, Yahuwah takes a remnant from the remnant. And that remnant, for us to be a part of the smaller group, we have to save ourselves through obedience. Because when you look at the people that were taken out of Israel, of Egypt, when the Israelites were taken out of Egypt, that was Yahuwah. He said, okay, it's time, let's go. And then the ones that made it to the promised land were the ones who dealt with themselves, and they didn't allow themselves to fall away. But the ones that fell away, they didn't make it into the promised land. So he took a remnant from the remnant. And then even with Lot and his wife, he took them out with the angels. That was Yahuwah again saying, let's go. And then the ones that made it out were the ones that were obedient. So when Lot's wife disobeyed and she looked back, she fell away. She wasn't the remnant, the remnant that came out of the remnant. She wasn't one of them because she disobeyed. Yeah. So it really speaks to the importance of obedience to his word, because Yahuwah in himself taking you out, it doesn't mean now that you can relax and say, we're out. You still have to obey and have that faith and that belief and continue in obedience so that you can make it to the promised land, like the smaller group that made it to the promised land out of Egypt.
Yep. Excellent. Anyone else?
Brother Brian, just to add on,
yes.
Just to add on, Romans 2 verse 1, all the way down, emphasizes the relevance and importance of not just claiming that you are a descendant and so there is no more, there is nothing else that is required of you. I think Paul slams that idea because he emphasizes here on the word, says in verse 5, says, but because you are stubborn and refuse to turn from your sins, you are storing up terrible punishment for yourself. For a day of anger is coming. Romans
which
2
version
5.
is that?
That's NLT. Let me go to King James. Okay, it says, but after thy hardness and impenitent heart treasurest up unto thyself wrath against the day of wrath and revelation of the righteous judgment of Yahuwah, who will render to every man according to his deeds. To them who by patience continuance in well-doing seek for glory and honor and immortality, eternal life. But unto them that are contentious and do not obey the truth, but obey unrighteousness, indignation and wrath, tribulation and anguish, upon every soul of man that doeth evil, of the Jew first and of the Gentile. So that articulates the importance that without obedience,
yes,
one, whether you are of direct descendants to the Messiah or to Abraham or to whoever, you still will not make it because of disobedience. So we cannot claim righteousness by descendantship. Let me put it that way, by lineage. We claim the righteousness of Yahuwah through obedience in his word and the faith in the Son, and that's what it is. So we can't say because we are Hebrew Israelites and so on and so forth, we automatically qualify for Yahuwah's salvation. So there is more that is required of us, which is steadfastness and obedience.
Yep. Great contribution once again. Anyone else?
Brother Brian, back to what Maya was talking about with Lot and his wife.
Yeah.
And from reading in Jasher, it was kind of a lesson to be learned also, because, in Jasher, it got down into more details as to, when she looked back, it was the thought of, she was thinking about her children that she left back there and, all the things that were going on back there and what caused her to, I guess, lose out in that sense. So, even for us, when we if we get that chance, we have to understand that even our children, we have to think about even like, okay, that's it for them if they choose not to come along with us. It's really a heartbreaking thing to think in a physical sense right now, but it's somewhere that we all have to really get to understand that, okay, you have to leave even mother, father, no matter who it is, if they choose not to come along.
Very good observation. And it brought me to something that I actually forgot to talk about today, to interject. It's about the danger of emotions in our walk, and maybe I'll have to do that for another teaching. Emotions are really, really dangerous because it's that motherly love and all of that. She turned back and was so missing. So, oh, my poor daughters. As a believer, you have to be pragmatic. You have to be, you have to hit things as they are. You cannot allow emotions to rule you. Anger, almost all of the emotions, almost all of the emotions will get you in trouble where Yahuwah is concerned. So when you look on things as they are, you will deal with things as they are, and then the me will not come intertwined and intermingled with it, which will then put you in trouble. As long as you put yourself somewhere in the word, then you're going to be in trouble. Trust me. And this is why we have so many denominations. And this is why, for example, as we're talking about the Hebrew Israelites, this is why they are off key on a whole lot of the teachings, because they are so hell-bent on getting revenge and getting at these people who have mistreated them so much for the ages. The true meaning of what the scripture is saying, they find scriptures to hide them away. For example, the fact that Gentiles can be saved. They have used scriptures to kind of let people believe that there's no way at all that any Gentile can be saved. No way any one of the oppressors can be saved. All right. And of course, by doing that, they are actually falsifying the gospel, because the gospel calls for Gentiles, for strangers to be in the kingdom serving. All right. And it says no unrighteous shall enter the kingdom. So the Gentiles, and it says the Messiah will be a light to the Gentiles to show his salvation to the ends of the earth. So they go around that by saying Gentiles are only, the only Gentiles are the Israelites. But no, if you read the scripture carefully, you will see that it is anyone who has decided to walk in obedience to Yahuwah through belief in the Messiah. So this is where emotions are concerned, and this is revenge and this hatred for their oppressors that have caused them to twist it. And likewise, it is for us. When we seek anything in the gospel, we like something, we love something, we want to protect something at all, then we twist and we find teachers according to our ears, and the teachers tell us what we want, and say yes, and we rest assured, yes, that is what I also believe. And that is why you have people moving from denominations to denominations, from teachers to teachers, trying to get validation for what they actually believe in. So emotions, very, very dangerous. And it is emotions, of course, that got Lot's wife. And Lot himself was not moved by that, because Lot is a man, and men are more pragmatic and more practical than women. Women will exude the emotions and so get into trouble, which is why women must not lead, and women must not teach men, because women will get you in trouble with those female emotions. All right, that's a mouthful, but just wanted to say, emotions, dangerous thing.
Just to add a little piece, Brother P, that is why it is stated that we should train our children the way or they should go. So when they grow older, they may not depart, because what we saw, okay, the children might be left behind because of because of disobedience. So what happened? What the Most High do? Whatever he does is righteous, and for her to be sorry for the children is like lamenting against the Most High will, because is you know, what he does is righteous. Period.
Yep.
Brother Brian.
Yes.
couldn't we say the same thing for the Ephraimites who just moved because they thought that it was time to move?
Yeah.
That based on what you just said, that I guess they stepped out in emotions.
I wouldn't call that emotions. That will be more like, I don't know if I call impatience an emotion. I don't know.
Oh, impatience. Isn't impatience part of emotions? Emotional something?
I don't know. I don't know if they call that emotion.
Okay.
I don't know.
As well as maybe you know, the verse that says in all thy ways acknowledge the Most High. Maybe they did not and went out on their own understanding.
Yeah. I don't think their own understanding, because they said that the time was up. So figuring like now today, for example, they say that it's 2019 is 400 years. And a lot of people will get impatient. So I guess maybe that is what is happening now. Like we are at 2020 and the Most High is still doing its thing. So maybe they were impatient and said, okay, the Most High's time is up. But then you could be right, Kerry, in the sense that, what was it again? Forgot my train of thought.
They did not acknowledge his ways and decide to go on their own understanding.
Yes, because it says in the book that they went in their own strength. So maybe you could be right along that part.
So with those people, Sister Marcia, be pretty close to the story with Jonah when he went to warn Nineveh. And because they turned away and they're okay, he was upset because he was expecting them to be perished, maybe, you know?
Yeah, it's the same thing happening today.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Hebrew Israelites.
And because the Most High is who he is, and he do what pleases him. So not what you're really expecting now will happen now.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why we have to seek the truth and not what we believe or what we want to believe.
And okay, this lead to one more thing where I said last week, our main thing should be that we love the Most High, because what happened with those folks now, things are not being done on their time. So if they love the Most High to the fullest, it doesn't matter how long it takes, they would still keep steadfast and obeying and do all that's required until the Most High is ready.
Yep. Anyone else?
Yahuwah saving you is just the beginning. It's not a guarantee that you'll make it to the promised land. Ultimately, you have to deal with yourself to get to the promised land through obedience. And that's it, really. Because we pin so much on Yahuwah saving us, rescuing us, but then that in itself is not a guarantee if we fall away through disobedience, if we fall away through not dealing with ourselves.
Yeah. Yahuwah saving us is the beginning, because when he saves us, he'll be bringing us to the wilderness. Yeah. Let's go to this Ezekiel 20:33. So it kind of reinforces what Mayo is saying, that him saving you is just the beginning. We're gonna go through a process as we said on Yom Teruah, that is gonna be a process where we're gonna go through a rough time in the wilderness. Read verse 33, please.
Ezekiel 20, verse 33. As I live, saith Yahuwah Aloha, surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over you.
So this is where he's going to gather us, and this is what's going to happen. Verse 34.
And I will
What scripture is that, Brother Brian? Sorry, because I cannot see on the screen. I was having a lot of trouble on my phone. What scripture is that?
Ezekiel 20, starting at verse 33. Read, please, Queenie.
And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out.
So this is why we have to wait on him, you know. When it's time for him to gather us, he's gonna gather us with fury poured out. All right, which means his fury is gonna be on the wicked, and he's gonna gather us, and then the wicked is going to be sorted out. Verse 35.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face.
And we know that it's going to be a location similar to the exodus of the children of Israel from Egypt, because he said in verse 36,
Because I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, saith Yahuwah Allah.
verse 37.
And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant.
All right, so this is what Mayo is saying. This is just this, it is the same, it is just the beginning. The Most High taking you out, is gathering you, is just the beginning. Verse 38.
Verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah.
So as Maya was saying, there shall be a remnant from among the remnant. So this is why we are in the wilderness, then the purging will happen. It will separate the men from the boys, and the girls from the
Brother
ladies,
Brian.
as it were. Yes?
How does
Yeah, go ahead.
Revelation 20, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
yes, Deborah.
I was wondering, yes, I was wondering, how does Revelation 27 through 10, does that play into any of what we're talking about now?
No. Revelation
Because when
7
you
to
talk
10.
Yeah,
Revelation
yeah,
7 to
7
10 is
through
speaking
10.
after the yeah, this is speaking the 1,000 years, which will be after Messiah's reign. After we have gone through the wilderness, then we're brought into the land of Israel, then that will begin the 1,000-year reign. But this Revelation
Okay.
27
Because
to
it
10 is
talks
speaking. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it was talking about, how Satan is supposed to be bound, but after a certain period, he's let loose. Again, it says to fool the nations, I guess, or to try and start up where he left off at, fighting against Yahuwah's word and his peoples. So, because I don't know how Revelation 7:10 comes into anything. Once we're gathered and we're back in the land, it just sounds like Revelation 7:10 is continuing from some point. I don't know where that point is.
All right. All right, let me try and explain it. All right. When we go into the wilderness first, there will be a period in the wilderness. I'm thinking about 3.5 years, I think, in the wilderness. And in the wilderness, then that is where the purging of the remnant among the remnant will take place. And then those who have been purged will not enter the land of Israel, and the remnant will enter into the land of Israel. When they enter into the land of Israel, the Messiah will take up his reign. When the Messiah takes up his reign, that starts the 1,000 years reign. Now, when the 1,000-year reign starts, Revelation 20 verse 7 is after the 1,000 years has completed. Because when we enter into the kingdom, that is when Satan will be bound. When we enter into the kingdom to start the 1,000 years. At the end of the 1,000 years, Revelation 27, then Satan will be released. And when he is released, he's going to go and rally the other nations who have been under the rulership of the Messiah for the 1,000 years. He's going to rally them again together, and they're going to get this idea again that they can topple us once more. And then the Most High will destroy them, and then you'll have the white throne judgment. I don't know if that helps, Deborah.
It's a scripture, a passage of scripture that I've struggled with for a long time. I still can't, I guess, grasp it. So I'll just have to keep asking Yahuwah for his Holy Spirit to help me, because I just don't get, after he gathers us, after all of this takes place, I know he does nothing without a reason. So there's some reason why. I don't know who these nations are, and if Israel is a part of these nations that Satan is going to try to rally against the Father. I simply don't get all of it.
All right, what don't you know?
And just like the wilderness, I mean.
All right, what you're doing, you're stating and on, and then by the time I try to answer, I get carried away in what you're saying, trying to figure out. So just directly, what don't you understand directly? Straight.
The purpose of, the purpose of, first of all, Satan being bound, which I get that part of it, but him being let loose to fool the nations. When I'm thinking,
hold on.
Okay.
I said, let's ask the question and then we can lead and lead. So first question, the purpose of Satan being bound. Let's deal with that. All right. The purpose of Satan being bound.
Okay.
The Messiah will be ruling the earth from Israel. We in the kingdom will be a kingdom of priests. Who will we be teaching? Who will we be teaching? Deborah.
Okay, so I'm thinking Israel. That's my answer.
Okay, but how can you be teaching Israel?
So I don't know.
How can you be teaching Israel, and Israel, it will be the kingdom of Israel that will be ruling the world? Remember, all those in the kingdom of Israel, would be the remnant, would be those who are set apart, who have overcome. So,
okay, I see that.
So who will they be teaching?
The only thing left is the other nations, but how would they get to? Okay. That
so
part,
Israel will be teaching.
I see that, but how do they?
All right, hold on. I'm gonna ask you the next question, the following question. So Israel will be teaching the nations while Satan is bound. Right?
Yes.
So then, after the other nations have been taught for the 1,000 years, and they've been taught the ways for the 1,000 years, then Satan will be let loose to test them, to try them, to tempt them again, to see if they are going to move away from the way of Yahuwah and accept Satan's ways. Does that make sense?
How did they? Yes, but my question is, if he's who's he destroying when he comes back? Who are these people that are going to be destroyed? And are the ones that are there the ones who we say cling to Israel? And if they were clinging to Israel, they would have accepted Yahuwah completely. So there would be no question as to their allegiance to Yahuwah, and that they would be servants there. So
Deborah, when you ask a question, just ask the question, because when you start talking, I get lost. So you ask the question first. Who would what
okay, I'm sorry.
What the question you ask first?
Okay, who are these nations that Israel will be teaching? Where do they come from? Is my question.
2nd Baruch 72. Where is it? Let me try to get this thing here. But this thing I don't move. Okay. Where is the second Baruch? All right, let me see if I can get this. I'm trying to get second Baruch. All right. Second Baruch 72. All right, somebody read, please. Read this, Deborah. Somebody's there?
Want me to read?
Let Deborah read. Deborah.
Yes, I'm here, but
All right, read, please.
okay, that's what I'm saying is that I can barely see it, is what I'm saying.
Okay, all right, Queenie, you read it.
Second Baruch 72. Hear now also regarding the bright lightning, which is to come at the consummation after these black waters. This is the word.
All right, this is was an angel explaining a dream that Baruch got. Continue.
After the signs have come, of which you were told before, when the nations become turbulent, and the time of my Messiah is come. He shall both summon all the nations, and some of them he shall spare, and some of them he shall slay.
All right, Deborah, you're on track. He's going to spare some nations, and some nations are going to be destroyed. And we're going to hear now which will be destroyed and which will be spared. Verse 3.
These things therefore shall come upon the nations which are to be spared by him. Every nation which knows not Israel and has not trodden down the seed of Jacob shall indeed be spared.
All right. So none of the confederate nations will be spared. The confederate nations who in Psalms 83, who form a confederacy against the children of Israel and set up their confederacy called the United Nations to destroy, specifically destroy the children of Israel. None of those nations will be spared. Continue.
And this because some out of every nation shall be subjected to your people.
As we say, the nations, people from the other nations shall serve us. Whether they like it or not, this is what the Most High has said. All right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. All right? And all your adversaries, every one of them shall go into captivity. So all of those nations that have dealt with our people, they shall go back into captivity as punishment for what they have done to us in the 1,000-year reign. All right, continue.
Verse 6. But all those who have ruled over you or have known you shall be given up to the sword.
All right. So the nations who have not bothered us, the Messiah is going to spare them. Those who have ruled over us or have known us shall be given up to the sword. That means no United States, no England, no France, Portugal, Holland, all of those,
Spain,
Belgium, Spain, none of those countries. All right? All right, but Deborah,
so that explains it perfectly. No, that explains it perfectly because I've never seen that before. And that's why I guess I kept struggling with it over and over because I couldn't find anything that would explain it. This explains it very well. Yeah, so I do get that.
Okay.
Thank
so that's
you.
why I must just ask the questions and see if the Most High will will give me the answers or give us the answers. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. Anyone else? All right, so let me close off this this teaching once again. Eliyahu Yasharal here from Just a Word. Hope you enjoyed the teaching today. Hope you got something from it. All right. So we have our weekly teachings here at 11 a.m. Eastern every week here on Just a Word. To find out more of our teachings, you can check out justaword.org. And as we said before, coming soon, Just a Word Radio will be coming soon. Just a Word and online radio. We are in the process of getting that together, so coming soon. Yeah, so like, subscribe, share, comment on our videos, all right? So continue to put the word out, share the videos, tell people, hey, you gotta see this video, or hey, I found this video interesting, so that the word can spread, all right? Our channel is growing and faster every day. So thank you all for watching, and thank you for sharing and for caring. All right, until next time, Eliyahu Yasharal here. Until next time, shalom. Shalom.